Hi, my name is Grace Hallam, and this is my review on American rituals. So, in class when we read Body Rituals Among the Niceraima, I really found it to be both eye-opening and ironic at the same time. So on the surface, it describes this group of people whose rituals seem barbaric, some could argue, and strange to us, but as I kept reading, I saw it more as a representation of us as Americans. These rituals that they have, such as medicine men and rituals of beauty, mirror practices in the US, like visiting a doctor or undergoing cosmetic procedures. What stood out to me was how the author used unfamiliar terminology to make ordinary practices seem foreign, forcing me to reflect on how much American culture I take for granted. This article made me realize how often we view other countries' customs as strange without considering how our behaviors might appear to them. The author's work reminded me that every culture has its own peculiarities, and sometimes we fail to see the extraordinary in our own ordinary routines. One peculiar tradition that American culture has that might seem baffling to an outsider is a celebration that centers around a small animal emerging from its burrow each February. This animal's actions, specifically whether or not it sees its shadow, predict the weather for the coming weeks. If the creature sees its shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If not, spring is expected early. This tradition might seem odd to an outside observer, because the fate of an entire season is supposedly determined by the behavior of an animal. However, this tradition connects deeply with American values of hope, anticipation, and control over the future. Despite its roots in superstition, it reflects Americans' cultural desire for renewal and optimism, especially during the cold, dark winter months. It's about expecting change and transformation, even if it's just a playful way of engaging with the passing of the seasons. Historically, this tradition has undergone many changes. It began with the Celtic and Germanic people, who used animals to predict weather patterns in connection to agricultural cycles. These early practices were linked to ensuring successful crops and good weather. When immigrants from Germany settled in America, they brought this tradition with them, and it became integrated into the local communities. Over time, the tradition became more of a public spectacle, rather than a strictly agricultural prediction. By the late 19th century, a specific town in Pennsylvania began to hold an annual event featuring this particular animal that would make the prediction. This marked a shift from its agricultural significance for the ritual to more of community entertainment. Today, it has largely become a humorous, lighthearted event that captures media attention and often serves as a fun ritual rather than a serious weather forecast. The transformation of this tradition can be seen as both beneficial and detrimental to American culture. On the positive side, the evolution has made it more inclusive and accessible, with people from all over the country joining in on the celebration, as often a way to break the monotony of winter. It's a communal event that fosters a sense of shared identity and national unity. However, the ritual shift towards commercialization and media spectacle could be seen as undermining its original cultural value. Focusing more on tourism and entertainment, it may dilute its historical values. According to sociologist Dr. John W. Mayer, rituals that evolve in this way often lose their original social function and become empty spectacles that may lack the depth they once had in terms of cultural meaning. While the tradition still serves as a form of social cohesion, it might be losing its deeper connection to nature and the agricultural rhythms that it once defined. Ultimately, the tradition shift towards popular culture could be seen as both a revitalizing force and a loss of its deeper, more meaningful core. The ritual I talked about today was Groundhog Day, celebrated in Pennsylvania every year on February 2nd in the United States and Canada.